agreed with the Netflix guys that we'd release this after. In exchange, we could just go full spoilers. So don't feel like you have to hold back.
We can go full spoilers.
Okay, first let's talk about, the whole arc of the show. I mean, obviously, I don't think that you knew where this was going. I don't think you knew. Did you
Well,
know to a point?
Not us as actors, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think the showrunners knew some kind of arc from the beginning. I think, well, of course, during the shoot, while you experience the story itself once and once again, you realize what might be needed to add up to the story, and so it sort of shifts and changes all the time during the experience of the shoot. But I think they always wanted to make a trilogy of it, so it was always planned as 3 seasons. And I think that, if you look at Great Game of Thrones and also Lost, they sort of they had the series, they stretched it out, they did it more and more seasons, and then they wanted to end it all of a sudden, and that made it sort of abrupt, I would say. So I think we've got a head start in terms of, since we already knew what the big and round thing is, so we could round it up as good as possible.
Yeah, and the 3 is obviously very important for the show as well. So I think the structure of it is also a piece of the story in a way.
It's so weird that we can talk about spoilers. It's
I know, right? You've been keeping the secret for so long.
Do not spoil anything at all.
There's like a sniper coming at me right now. I just feel like the thing. But I mean, so how much were you prodding them throughout the process in finding out more of what would happen next? Or were you someone who was really just reading the scripts as they came? Like, when did you know what the end game was?
We got to know about the ending in the middle of the shoot for the 3rd season. So I don't know if they were still figuring out what exactly should the end be, but I was always trying to get more out of the showrunners. But I mean, also before we got the scripts, when, I don't know, in between season 2 and 3, I was of course trying to get something out of them, considering the 3rd season. But they also wanted us, I mean, they sometimes told us a couple of things, but they also wanted us to experience the show kind of similar like the audience when we read it. So we would be as blown away or confused or whatever like the audience when they watch it. So we would know what we tell exactly and how it's going to be received. So it wouldn't be that good to know that much beforehand, I think.
How did it make you feel to read the ending of your character, and then how was it in turn to perform that ending? Did that grow from the moment you read it to the moment you performed it?
Yeah, well, no, the thing is, it's actually, I think it's all Jonas wants. It's all he wants, because he's not selfish. He's not self-centered. All he wants is the good, and he would give his own life. What he's also been trying throughout the seasons, giving his own life for the good and for the good outcome for the rest of them, for Vinden and the world. And so when I read it, I was quite sad. I was quite sad seeing that character, well, sort of dying. But I also thought, yes, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you because you finally achieved what you were trying to do the whole time. And then when we played the scene, when we acted the scene, it was our very last shooting day. So the last scene was Lisa's, so Marta's, and my last shooting day and very last scene. So we had closure for the characters, but we also had closure for us, and we, as Jonas was saying goodbye to the world and goodbye to his life, me as Lewis was saying goodbye to the character. And I think that's why the scene, I'm quite happy with it, because the scene turned out to be so truthful, I think, because we were both saying goodbye as the character and as the actors.
For me, I think, you get this almost that warm. I think you guys really brought this closure and this sense of peace to that ending of your characters. But then I had a completely different feeling from the scene that came after it, and you realize that so many of those characters just never existed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all those stories are gone. There's no one to remember them. There's this little inkling. Obviously, there's the jacket on the chair, and there's the sense of a name and possibly a new beginning as she's pregnant. But it's also, there's a nothingness. There's a nihilism. There's just there's an emptiness. So how did you process that?
Yeah, there's a book. It's 12 books. It's called Darren Shan. It's a vampire book that I read when I was 10, and the ending is that he travels back in time and prevents the main character from doing anything that he's experienced in the 12 books. And back then I was really angry. I don't know why, but I felt like anger in myself that he prevented himself from doing anything I have experienced with him in the past 12 books. But I don't know why, but I felt differently with Dark, because it's not like nothing ever happened. It's like, I don't know why, but I had the feeling of completion, because they have achieved something. It's not like it's all a dream or anything like that. They have achieved the ultimate goal of Jonas.
Yeah, it's not a passive decision. It's not something that happened to
them.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that makes all the difference. Have you finally seen Donnie Darko? Because I think you were asked once whether or not you'd seen it, and you hadn't at the time.
Yeah, no, I have not.
You have not.
I've seen Back to the Future now, but
check out Donnie Darko, because I think there's a similar sort of active choice that the character might make, although it's up for interpretation. But I wanted to ask, did all of you guys process this the same way? Did all of you guys process the ending the same way? Or are you guys, still in a group WhatsApp chat somewhere arguing about?
We also, the youth group of the Dark Kids, we all watched it together, the whole season, and we all cried like hell, because it was another goodbye. It was another time of closure. I don't know. It was pretty awesome. I don't know why, because it touched us so much, because we were again saying goodbye, and I feel like we're all very happy with the ending. I feel like I don't know what you would think, what other ending would be suitable, but I think that's the only possibility.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen Twin Peaks as well, but Twin Peaks is a show where I'm going to spoil Twin Peaks for you a little bit.
That's okay.
Should I not do that?
No, it's okay. Do it.
In the end, we have the character go back to the past and stop the big terrible thing that happened from happening, and erases it from history. But as we go back to the present, it turns out that was the wrong choice. That really ruined everything. You can't undo the past. You can't undo the tragedies of the past in order. But here we have a tragedy that's undone. It really takes an opposite choice. So I think in a way, I'm not really sure which one is more optimistic. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure which one is you can find more peace in.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like the character, when you see the characters vanish, when they vanish in the air, or kind of dissolve themselves. I felt like I saw peace in the characters' eyes, in every single one of them. I felt like it felt right for each of them. not only Marta and Jonas, but also all the other characters that you see dissolve. So I think that piece from the characters can also transcend to the audience.
How do you feel that you've changed as an actor from when this began to now?
Well, I mean, I started Dark when I was 19, so I also changed. I think I would have also changed without Dark in 4 years of growth and living in another city. When I was 19, I had moved to Berlin a year ago, so I think I would have changed anyways. But I think Dark just taught me a lot of filmmaking. I think watching these people, all these talented people make great art and be so precise in their job really really brought an overall view on filmmaking and how it's done. And I understood storytelling even more. And man, I think that now I know what it feels like to play grief and sadness, because I've done it all over and all over again. And yeah, I think that's what I learned.
Yeah, you didn't just have 3 deaths on the show. You probably had 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I think you have probably 6. So we'll see. Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you so much, man. It was a great pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
I hope it was a bit of a relief to be able to get some of this off your chest.
Yeah, it was a bit overwhelming to be able to talk about the spoilers, but also good, yeah, because the pressure's there.
Excellent. We'll get back to your albums, and I hope to talk to you again. Cool. Congratulations.
You too. Thanks. Take care.
Take care. And are you guys still under lockdown? How's life been?
Well, yeah. I mean, they kind of loosen it up a bit, so you can go outside and you can meet some people, but it's still like with mask and everything. Yeah.
Of course. So let's talk about Dark. Something a bit less dark than the actual reality of the world, weirdly enough. But so I've finished the 3rd season, so we can do full spoilerific interview. How was the process for you and your relationship with the creators in that process? How much would they let you into where the character's journey was going, and how much did they purposefully keep you in the dark, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, it was at the end of season 2 when we filmed that. I only got the news that there will be this alternative Marta. So we already did the scene where I was dying in the 2nd season. Yeah. And I didn't know what was going to happen. And a few days later, we shot this entrance. So for a few weeks, I thought that was it for me for the whole season. And then for the 3rd season, we kind of had to wait till we got the script. So we tried to talk with the director and we were like, can you tell us something? And he gave us maybe some hints, but we had to read the scripts and then we figured out the ending. And so we kind of had this experience that the audience gets from reading it when we read it. So it's kind of nice to have this first impression when you read it. Yeah,
as well as your character grew from something of a supporting character to one of the absolute leads of the show, and especially in season 3, your character is such a vital role of everything that's happening. And so what was the process for you to dig deeper and deeper into this character? How did she surprise you the more you got to know her?
First of all, I tried to figure out all this whole storyline she goes through, because it's not in a chronological order, as well in the series as like we were filming it, not chronologically. So my first step was just figuring out what was actually happening to her.
So did you have like a map, like a notebook of worked out, okay, what's happening now?
I put my script in this order, so every scene was from where she started as a character to where she ends as a character. So I had it this way, and so I could always go back and forth and see what's happening before. And she also, in the script, she has different names because of this different appearances of her. So that was helping. And then I just tried to get there emotionally, because she has a very emotional journey. And then I just had to go on set and just do it. I mean, in the end, you just have to be there and be present and throw yourself into all the crazy emotions.
Which were the scenes that stuck with you most when you were filming them in season 3 in particular? Was it really, I think the finale is obviously really impactful, but was it the same for you? Were there other things that really stuck out to you more?
Yeah, I mean, the finale was the last day we were shooting, so it was emotional, and it was for us the rep day, and everybody was crying at the end. So this really stuck to me a lot. But it's more like the moments in between filming, when we are this team on set, and we actually did a lot of jokes in between. So it was like to keep this high energy level for the whole day. We kind of were joking around a lot. We were doing little games with the crew. So we had this game when you look into, do you know this game?
I do know this game.
And like the director and everybody was always like, you looked into it. And then, so we were doing so many jokes, and that's kind of what I think of when I think of filming. So the scenes are more something that I see when I watch the series itself, but you're kind of in a very delusional state while filming, on like when the camera's rolling. You're just, I mean, I'm not myself, and sometimes I can't really remember what I did, and it's a weird state to be in.
No, absolutely. I mean, how did you get into the mindset of that final choice that she has to make? You know, obviously she's deciding, you know, full spoilers, you know, she's deciding to, you know, accept that her reality is something to wipe out of existence. How did you like even get in there? Did you even try to, or it was just a matter of just trying to even find any way into the character in that moment?
I mean, it's extremely tragic for the characters, but it's the only way that they can find peace. I mean, Jonas is not happy in the world that he was born in, and Martha is not going to be happy in her world. So they just know that they have to sacrifice themselves. And I think we just thought it was the right thing for the characters to do. So obviously it's very emotional, but I think it's also very peaceful in a way, because they both accept it as it is. And I think I really feel a big peace about this whole ending.
Yeah. And I mean, for me watching it, there was that peace that your characters have, and then there's this scene right after. It doesn't end there, you know. We see this other world, and we see the jacket, which I'm obviously mimicking with my yellow jacket here, but that you had to wear all throughout the 3rd season as well. But when we see that final scene, when they're talking about this darkness and this nothingness, did you guys interpret that as a positive ending or a peaceful ending, or did you see it as something a bit more dark and nihilistic?
Yeah, I think I really like that we have this scene at the end, because it's kind of goes back to where it started, and it can be seen as a loop, but it can be seen as the new beginning of a new loop, but it doesn't confirm it. So everybody can choose their own version of the ending if they want to. So I really think that it gives this whole ending a very dark style, like how we do things and how the story goes is really like how it ends. So it's stays very true to itself in that way.
Absolutely. Have you gone back to watch earlier seasons after you finished shooting, and gone to see all the things you didn't know and all the things that you are seeing in a different way?
No, I just watched the seasons when they came out, because I mean, the more it goes into the past, the work you've done, the more I'm critical about it. And
yeah, of course.
I just watched the new season and I am happy about it, but I still see so many stills and photos and theories online about the first two seasons, so it's still very present in my mind, but I didn't rewatch it again.
And last question, what was the most fulfilling part of the whole process of Dark? What did you really take away from it now that you've had some time and distance from the shooting?
It was just the whole experience of, first of all, being part of this incredible story that is so complex and so new to TV history, and meeting all these people on set, meeting the showrunners who are amazing filmmakers, and just being able to be part of this project and their vision, and having this big platform for Dark to be seen all over the world. And I really learned a lot as an actress in these years of filming, and I take so much joy from it, and I will always remember this part of my life forever, and I will always keep it in my heart and cherish it.
As you should, and congratulations on the entire series. It's been wonderful to watch it become a phenomenon all around the world, and wonderful to watch you grow as an actress. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
A great pleasure.
Bye.
Well, what have you been watching and listening to during lockdown?
Well, I rewatched the whole BoJack Horseman series.
It is very good. I still haven't watched the last few episodes. I can't do it.
What? Really? You spared those?
I know.
Why not? I mean, it's I don't know. Yeah, it was hard for me to see it end, but so I just rewatched the whole series now during Corona, and I don't know. Well, there's a great band. They do something like it's like indie lounge pop. I don't know. They're called Family Time, and they did a great album. And also there's a band called Chocolat, and it's also sort of alternative. They're from Canada, I think, and that's also really great. That's the latest stuff I've been listening to. What are you into?
A lot of like ambient Japanese stuff from the 80s, which was all just like space like music that they made for like a lobby of a hotel, but now if you listen to it, it's really, really interesting. It just completely chills you out.
Do you know Sunset Roller Coaster?
Yeah. All of that stuff. And then a lot of like Brazilian, like Tropicala from the 60s.